So I bought this 3D printer on Hobby King for about $99, which was an absolute steal considering the printer actually works. The printer is okay. The prints that I get out of it are, you know, they're pretty poor, but it gets the job done. It definitely prints things out. But more recently I've been needing to make these little small scale airplane wings, such as this guy, which I've made out of Dollar Tree foam. But the issue with these wings is that the geometry is pretty poor and inconsistent from wing to wing that I make, and the final result really doesn't look that good. More recently, I've actually built a hot wire cutter. The results I've gotten are pretty good. The one downside though is that there are some sort of lines along here from me, you know, being inconsistent with the speed of the hot wire cutter along the airfoil. So this brings me to my next idea, which is basically figuring out if I can convert this trash 3D printer into a CNC hot wire cutter that you can basically make little wings off of. I'm basically going to get rid of this X-axis movement right here and replace that with a wire that'll go from there to there. The nice thing about this 3D printer is that it actually has two stepper motors in there and in there for the Z-axis, so it should be able to support the whatever weight I need to add. The only other real thing that I'll need to do is figure out the G-code slicing, because I'm obviously not going to be able to just use a normal 3D printer slicer, so I'll actually have to make some of that G-code myself, and we'll see how that goes. I've got a number of ideas of how to do that, but yeah, let's jump right in and see how it goes. So, I got the hot wire cutter working. I ran into a big problem in the middle where I basically wanted to tie both sides of the Z carriage together using the wire, the actual hot wire cutter, and not actually have any other cross bridges like the X-axis shafts that were there before. So I actually got rid of those and I just kept the wire there, and what happened was either side of the carriage started to kind of budge up on one another, and it caused the Z-axis motor to not be able to actually move the carriage up and down. And so the driver actually blew out on me a couple times. Thankfully I was able to use the X-axis stepper driver since I'm not actually using that one, so I just swapped the X and Y together. And so now it works, and the reason why it works is because I actually tied both sides of the Z-axis carriage together using those shafts that were originally from the X-axis, and so now basically the tension from the wire isn't causing those linear bearings to budge up on the outer shafts, and so now it can actually move up and down. And the other thing I also did was I tensioned the X-axis shafts together in the opposite direction from the way the tension from the wire wants to go. So basically I'm pre-tensioning those shafts down so that it would get stuck, but then with the wire tensioned, it actually causes it to be super free. And it actually moves up and down just like super nicely. There's really no problems with it anymore, so I'm super pumped about it. I actually did a little bit of hackery in order to get the G-code to work on this. Basically what I did was I had a little airfoil shape that I catted up, and that shape was so thin that it would basically only let the slicer allow the printer to print that one line out in one pass and then be done. And so I actually took that G-code and I reversed the, the X-axis, so all of the X's on that G-code. I basically did a find and replace all, and I got rid of all the X's and replaced them with Z's. So basically I took that shape and I flipped it on its side in the G-code, and that allows it so that the Z-axis is then the X-axis and the Y is still the same. And so that seemed to work pretty well, actually. I got rid of all the other like extruder stuff, all the hot end stuff, and I just left the coordinates, and so I can actually move the bed and all of the axes to the right spot, and then hit print, and it'll actually start cutting out that airfoil shape immediately, and then it'll be done. All in all, the 3D printer that I had before really wasn't that great, and so now with this I've got a bunch of extra stepper motors that I can do whatever I want with, and yeah, I've got a functioning hot wire cutter that I didn't have before. So I don't think you can actually find one of these online to buy, or I don't know if anybody's actually done this before, basically converting a 3D printer into a hot wire cutter. So I think this is the first time, especially for a desktop hot wire cutter. So not like a huge one, but just one for little wings. Anyway, I really liked it. I had a lot of fun trying to figure it all out. See if you can build one yourself. It's really not that hard, actually. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.